are one human family. To the moon, one human family. On to Mars, one human family. Here we come, one human family. Here we are, one human family. Here we come, one human family. Here we are, one human family. Greetings and salutations, my people. I am grateful to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Mongo, pow. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Mike Mongo's Astronaut Adventures. You know where I get that song from? One Human Family. Here we come, one human family. So here it is right here. The official slogan, so I'm from Key West, right? Key West, Florida, which is a great place to be from, and hopefully you are from someplace awesome too. Hopefully you're from wherever you are is as awesome as Key West is, and that is quite possible. Every place is uniquely awesome. So in Key West, the official philosophy of the city of Key West is all people are created equal members of one human family. That's the official city philosophy. All people are created equal members of one human family. One human family. And that's where I got the song from. So with our theme song, my friend said, my friend Ross Everett, my friend Palmenta were like, you need lyrics for your song. And I said, here we come, one human family. To the moon, one human family. On to Mars, one human family. Asteroids, one human family. Jupiter, one human family. Saturn's rings, one human family. Kuiper Belt, one human family. Pluto, one human family. I forgot Uranus, one human family. Neptune, one human family. Planet 9, one human family. So I got a friend who came up with the idea of Planet 9. And supposedly there's a planet that we have discerned, not because we can see it yet, but because gravitationally it looks like there's something out there beyond Pluto in what's in the Kuiper Belt, which is that big, broad ring that surrounds all of our solar system. And there's all kinds of stuff out there so far away. How far away? Let's look it up. This is the great thing about Google. Google is live in person for us. So we can say, how far away is Pluto? Pluto. Coming up. I guess it's taking a while. What's the story, Morning Glory? That was such a good question. I would think it would come right up. Oh. It's a Wi-Fi. It's another one of those technological difficulties. You know how I get into those. So let's let it get its recap on. Here it comes. There's the Wi-Fi network. I know that you as a student have this same issue at home. I definitely know that. Here we go. Then I press the refresh button. Pow. How you like me now? Here we go. Yep. 3 billion miles away. 3.075 billion miles away. Pluto is 3.75 billion miles away from Earth. Billion. So the Kuiper Belt is way far out there. So since it's billions of miles away and it's so far out there in space, we can't discern exactly what is in the Kuiper Belt. However, a friend of mine, I've said my friend, and every single time, Planet 9. I keep on thinking it's Kiko Donchev because Kiko is the chief. I think he's in charge of landing operations at SpaceX, and I love him. And he's got a great name, Kiko Donchev. But this is a different friend who also has a great name. And let's see if he is on the Wikipedia entry. Yes. Batygin. His name is Batygin. Konstantin Batygin. What kind of great name is that? Konstantin Batygin. Kiko Donchev and Konstantin Batygin. Konstantin Batygin, another friend of mine, came up with the idea of Planet 9, which is a planet that is out there in the Kuiper Belt, somewhere beyond the 3.075 billion miles away that Pluto is. And it is so big that it has a gravitational influence, which we've been able to detect, but we haven't spotted it. Now it's a theoretical planet. And because my friend came up with the idea, Konstantin, I have decided I talk about Planet 9 like it's a thing already. So, because he's smart. I've known him for a while. And just like Kiko's super smart too. And so, that is the story of Planet 9. And the song, Here We Come, One Human Family, what I do is, like, of course, we're one human family, and we're going to space. And so, when we go to space, we go to these awesome places, including, like, maybe Planet 9. There's these dwarf planets that are out there in the Kuiper Belt. Kuiper is a cool word. Check this out. You know how I like to draw. You know how I like to say I like to draw. So Kuiper is spelled like this. And you can Google it. Kuiper. Kuiper. And that's important because the solar system is like our neighborhood. And remember when you were growing up and you kind of didn't know how to walk back home even if you were around the block. But as we get older, we learn our neighborhood. Oh, excuse me. 1 second. I feel a sneeze in my chamber. And maybe it'll come. Oh, it's still there. And so when we were younger, you know how you kind of don't know your neighborhood? You kind of recognize it and you kind of do. And then as we get older, like we get to be 9, 10, 11, we really are very familiar with our neighborhood and we know how to get around. Sometimes when we're younger, we really know our neighborhood. And sometimes it takes us a while. Sometimes I know people who learned how to drive when they were younger than 10. Learned how to drive a car, believe it or not. And me, I didn't get my driver's license until I was like almost 20, maybe 18. I was working on math and science and stuff, and I just really wasn't thinking about driving a car. But then I went away to college, and so it was time to learn how to drive. So we figured this stuff out as we need to. It's like my son, Raphael. Raphael works on mathematics sometimes, but right now it's become more interesting to him, so now he's paying attention to it, and he's seeing that it's a whole different language, and we get to understand how the world works by understanding math. Like when people want to buy stuff, if you don't know math, you're not going to be able to do anything with money. Money and math are directly connected, and money is interesting. Okay? So that's one of the reasons we practice math. And up until now, Raphael really didn't pay attention to math, but now he's paying attention to it. He's paying attention to money, and that's how these things work. So the one human family and that whole song and that whole idea is a really good idea. It means that you and me, and you and me, and you and me, and you and me are the same. We're all one human family together, which is great. And that's a terrific philosophy. And a philosophy is a set of ideas. So in Key West, the city of Key West, which is an island, and it actually is its own nation in a different way, has a philosophy. That's the driving ideas. That's the ideas that the whole island functions by. The city philosophy. It's like the song of the city. It's like the dream of the city. It's like the rules of the city. It's like the constitution of the city in a way. It's like the way people think and are. So if you have a philosophy of kindness, you're going to be a kind person. And if you have a philosophy of sharing, you're going to be a shareful person. If you have a philosophy of helping, remember how I say that I want you to always have the idea in your head to be asking yourself, how am I helping? That is our philosophy. How are we helping? Our philosophy is to be helpful. That's what a philosophy is. A philosophy is a set of ideas that we work by. We live by, we drive by, we walk by, we think by, we talk by. We try to have our actions reflect our philosophy. Like, have you ever thought about what your personal philosophy is as a student? Students have philosophies. You know how some of your friends some of your friends are outgoing and very expressive and very animated, and they're always moving around and they're excited. And even some people are like, wow, your friend so-and-so is very excited all the time. Or your friend so-and-so is silly. Or your friend so-and-so has a beautiful voice. Or your friend so-and-so is always so clean. Like they're so clean and so well put together. You ever hear that? So those are our philosophies. Those are the way we are. We live, and sometimes it's how we come, and sometimes it's how we develop ourselves. Like in the Army, when I was in the Army, I developed discipline, and so now part of my philosophy is discipline. It definitely took away discipline from my time in the Army. Like I was one way before I went in the Army, and then the Army allowed me to learn self-discipline. For instance, when I need to get up, I don't even need an alarm usually. If I need to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I just think I got to be up at 5. And I wake up just like that. I mean, it is amazing, which is kind of cool as a grown-up. It's like a superpower in a way. And another philosophy is helping. And so for us, for you, a human heir, the next generation of space explorers, I'm working to engender or foster or instill or input or place the idea of how important it is to be helpful. And that's going to give you what I call a critical competitive advantage, because all the grown-ups around you are going to see what a value it is to have you around because you're a helpful person. And when you think as a team player, when you think as like we are all working on the same thing together, that's like one human family, like the philosophy of Key West, then that's another thing that we as grown-ups see in you as a younger person. And we're like, okay, this is a person I want on my team, right? So another part of that, remember how I just mentioned about sometimes parents see our friends and discern things about us, or it could be about you. People say, wow, that person is really clean. That person is well put together. So I want to talk to you about something today. I wrote it down. You ready? Here we go. It is hygiene. It's what people call hygiene. So you know what hygiene is. It's cleanliness. It's how we take care of ourselves and our stuff and our surroundings. Having good hygiene. You've heard it. You've heard it so many different times. Hygiene. Here, let me straighten this out a little bit. You know how much I like to write. I don't know why anybody wouldn't like to write. I really love it. It is so much fun. People think that letters. Do you ever remember being resistant to learning how to draw the alphabet? How to write? Well, people say write the alphabet, but isn't writing just drawing? And when you practice letters, it makes them a lot of fun. And I know that sometimes we get tested on drawing fast and our letters aren't as kind or attractive as they can be. But then there's times when we get to write on our own. See, writing and drawing are kind of the same thing. They really are the same thing. So, hygiene. There, nice and straight now. Hygiene, personal hygiene, how we take care of ourselves is important for a bunch of reasons. It's important for a bunch of reasons. First of all, almost always we're around other people. So you ever been around somebody who doesn't have good hygiene? It could be a kid, it could be a grown-up. I mean, sometimes grown-ups don't have good hygiene. So I have friends who have had issues with hygiene, and I've had friends who I've got to assist in their issues with hygiene. Sometimes people are unaware that they have issues with hygiene. Like I have friends who are grown-ups who had bad teeth who I got to help fix their teeth. And when we have bad teeth, our breath starts to smell. And sometimes we don't smell it because it's in our mouth. And so our olfactory, our nose gets used to it. And we didn't even know that we had bad breath. But when we have bad breath, you ever been around someone who has bad breath? We don't want to smell bad breath. And so it's what people call a turn off. Something that attracts us is a turn on. We switch on. But if it's a turn off, then we push away. We're not interested. And when we're trying to put our best foot forward, meaning when we're trying to give our best impression of ourselves to other people, when we're working to do that, it's important to have good hygiene. We want our breath to smell good. We don't want our body to stink in a bad way. You know, after you play sports, sometimes you smell, and that's okay. Like, that's natural. That's supposed to happen like that. It's kind of fun, actually. I've been out camping before for a few days at a time, or even a couple weeks, and you start to smell, and you're like, I smell terrible. And you're kind of proud of it because it's such an adventure. And sometimes astronauts smell. They have before that has happened. Like when astronauts have been together in a very small spaceship, you can Google it, how it started to smell in some of the Apollo missions. And we've become better at that. And even bathing and cleaning in space is a trick, you know, because water floats. And so it's kind of tricky to get clean in space. It takes practice. And yet, today's astronauts, today's space professionals practice at keeping good hygiene because there's other people around and they're working on a team. People work in space always work on teams. So smelling good is helpful. It keeps everybody's spirits up and makes everybody want to be around each other. Same thing is true in a classroom. Same thing is true on a team. Like we don't want to get to we don't want to be the person that smells bad all the time. If we can avoid it. I have friends who have reasons that they smell bad. Biological reasons. Honestly, I really do. Well, they're my friends, and that's just how it is. And then I had friends who didn't realize that they weren't making a good impression. They didn't have their best foot forward. And I got to help them many times. This has happened in the same way that I'm sure somebody helped me. I remember being a teenager who kind of stunk. And finally a grown-up said, hey, you don't smell good. Well, I didn't want to not smell good. Hygiene is also like right now, because like we're doing this whole show because of pandemic. The Spaceship Studio exists. Our wonderful Spaceship Studio exists because of pandemic. You know that. And we get to when we're doing this thing together, we get to remember what I was just talking about 2 minutes ago. Googly moogly. So talking about smelling good and helping one another and working together as a team and first time I ever lost my thought. My googly moogly. And then this amazing Spaceship Studio and keeping it in shape and making it look good for every time that you're here, for that we're sharing this time together. What was the thing that I was just... So in the time that I've got to help people who have who didn't realize that they had some sort of hygiene issue, I remember pandemic. Touching our face. That has to do with hygiene right now during the pandemic. You hear how we're not supposed to touch our face? Now I'm here in Spaceship Studio, and so it's okay. Like when we touch our face on our own, it's okay. I haven't touched anything outside, so me touching my face is not going to, there's no germs that I'm putting on. However, because it's pandemic, if I'm outside, if I go outside that door, let's say I go into a store where would I go? Or like, you people go outside and touch stuff. I mean, even at a playground, even during pandemic, students go to a playground. And so if you touch a playground equipment and then touch your face, it could be that you're getting coronavirus on you, which is why we keep sanitizer and wash our hands to keep our hands clean, and not touch our face till we get home. And another thing about pandemic and hygiene, this is about hygiene, are masks. Here's my mask right here. So every time I clean my mask, I've got a couple of them to keep them clean, and then always make sure that there's no stuff on it, no dust or anything. And then just like this. So this is about hygiene too, you know. This is about the hygiene right here. This keeps the germs from going out. So it keeps me from spreading germs to other people. And it actually works if germs are around, that it prohibits germs. It stops germs from coming in here. And we're not really supposed to touch this part either. So sometimes I get my nose itches and I'm like this. So I don't get my fingers. I'm like this. Yeah, the masks are part of personal hygiene right now during the pandemic. So you can see this word hygiene comes into play for a lot of different stuff. How about smelly feet? That's why we got to wash our feet when we take baths and showers. You know, here's an interesting thing. I was thinking about this. Think of our human body, instead of thinking of it as us, think of it as the car that carries us around. You live inside your car or your spaceship. Think of the human body, this is like the robot that carries us around. And so our mind is the computer brain, or our soul, or our spirit, or our identity, or however you want to call it. Everybody has a different way of putting it. And then, so this robot carries that around, the machine, I call it the robot. And so we get to take care of it, like keeping our fingernails clean, like there's a little bit of dirt right there, but mostly it's clean, right? So keeping our fingernails clean is really important. I can see I could do a little work over here, because no one likes to see dirty fingers. That's part of hygiene. Keeping our hair trimmed, even if we got long hair. Oh, wow, how about this? How about this? Washing our hair, or brushing or combing our hair. I see a lot of students, I see enough students who don't comb or brush their hair out, and their hair is just a big clump of mess and everything like that. It communicates something to grown-ups. It communicates that we don't want to be bothered with our hair. And that's not good. When I was in high school, I used to have friends who didn't wash their hair, and they would come to school and their hair would be greasy. Well, the disadvantage of that is that you're making, when we go anywhere and our hair is greasy, we're making an impression. Yeah, wow, that's a good one. Let me write that one down. These are important. I just didn't even think about it, about making a list. How about this? Yeah, let me move this over a little bit. Yeah, this is simple stuff to really pay attention to. Let's go down the list. First of all, fingernails. That's something that people don't think about. Wait, let's try a different color. We got blue for the main message, but let's do some red, because this is important, and red usually means it's important. So fingernails, make sure our fingernails are clean and trimmed. Do you know that grown-ups notice fingernails all the time? Grown-ups, the older we get, the more we pay attention to stuff. Fingernails are a big one. This is a big one. This is a big one. Clean hair. Clean hair. Water does not wash hair. It just rinses it. So clean hair. Fingernails, clean hair, and clean feet. It's so easy to wash our feet and to use clean socks. And so, you know, why we're talking about socks, this is an important one. Clean underwear. Underwear. Think of remember I was just saying, yeah, clean underwear. You know, that's something that people don't think about. But that's an important one. It's like, think about this. Okay, so like the robot is a car, right? So then, you ever look under the car and see where the exhaust is? The exhaust is where the carbon monoxide comes out. So when we use a car, we put fuel in it, gasoline, and we keep, then the gas burns, unless you're driving a Tesla or an electric car, and then it's cleaner. But in a gas car, we all know what a gas car is, and there's an exhaust pipe, and where the gas burns and it puts out the fumes from that burning inside the engine. And then if you look at an exhaust, it's always dirty. That's where the exhaust comes out. Well, the human body has an exhaust. I mean, everybody knows that. And so in the same way that a car has an exhaust, the body has an exhaust, and we have to keep that clean as well. I mean, I get to talk with students about that. Holy moly, just Spicoli. Of course, it's important to keep clean. Like this is where we put our gas in. And so this is how like an engine burns gas and we chew up our fuel. And so keeping our teeth clean and keeping our teeth healthy is another way we keep good hygiene. And then washing is how we clean our exhaust. And even sweat is exhaust. So you know how you wash a car? You wash it with soap, right? What happens if you rinse a car? You ever see a car that has been through the rain? It's still dirty usually afterwards. It doesn't just wash off the dirt. The dirt stays on unless you use soap. And that's like, I don't know why we don't explain it to students better. I mean, I don't know that it was explained perfectly to me when I was you. I definitely know that there were times where I didn't realize I smelled, and then people had to say, hey, you smell. And we become kind of used to our own smell. We become used to living with ourselves, believe it or not. Like it's our nose on our body, so it's connected to our smell, and we don't even notice it sometimes. Here is a good life hack. This is a hack. If you want to tell how your breath is smelling, just take your hand, breathe into it, and smell. Do it like 3 times. How about that? That's a simple one. I don't know if anyone's ever taught you that. This is funny. As we get older, sometimes our hands will take on a smell. And the way to get rid of that is not soap and water, it's water. It's metal. By holding metal, metal will clean off the smell of your hands. You can Google it. Hands smell, hold metal. Weird, huh? But you think about it. Like we use our hands for everything, so why wouldn't they eventually like take on a smell? It can happen. Like we think of this as like special because it's connected to us, but it really is a robot that we get to use. Like it's pretty fantastic actually. We're really lucky to have this sort of thing. We're sort of lucky to be born as a human being that has a mind and a voice and thinking and hearing and communicating. And so that's why we learned, because we're doing all these things, we learned the importance of hygiene. Feet, washing our feet. Water, just dipping our feet in water will not get the smell off. Let me think, what's something that smells? What smells? Dogs. Oh my Google. You ever have a dog that smells? It's not going to smell better just by rinsing it. In fact, if you have a dog that smells and you rinse it, it actually smells more doggy afterwards, unless you use what? What's the thing that you get to use to make a dog to stop smelling? What is it? Say it. Got it? Say it. Soap. Soap and water. Now, when we want to really clean ourselves, soap and hot water. Soap and hot water. Hot water, because hot water and soap breaks down oils. And see, there's oils on our body. Look, watch this. See how shiny my scalp is, my skin? I've got shiny skin. But if I take a little bit of a tissue, it changes a little bit. It becomes a little less shiny. And I just took a shower this morning. And that's how that works. My nose, too, same deal. There's oil on our faces. And everybody has different skin. And shiny, I mean, like a lot of people are shiny, and that's fine. That's just how our skin is. It's not that shiny or not shiny is bad or good. It's just that sometimes we get too shiny or we get too flat. Like if you get too much dirt on your face or dust, it won't be shiny at all. And so we get to wash that off. And that also is hygiene. Hygiene is not just, check this out. Look at this. Yeah, I'll show you something. Check those out. Look, my shoes. NASA socks. My shoes are in really good shape. I keep my shoes really clean. I use a little brush. I keep my shoes in good shape. So I think that's really important. Even these ones, I'll like these ones I've had for a long while, and maybe 6 months. And I use a little soap and water to brush them down and keep my shoes in good shape because, well, first of all, as a grown-up, I get to buy my own shoes. And secondly, they're my shoes. They're not someone else's shoes. So I want them to best represent me. And then thirdly is that, yeah, I mean, like when they're mine, when someone else is buying your stuff, you don't really put a value on it. But at the same time, it's yours. So we get to be responsible for our own stuff. Like, for instance, I got this wicked new fidget spinner from Stedeman. Check this out. It was very inexpensive too. I mean, if you're a grown up and you don't buy a fidget spinner, like, isn't that the whole point about being grown up? Like, if you don't get to buy your own toys, this is the company that makes it. I don't know if you can see that. Stedeman. And I keep it in good shape. So if I keep my toys in good shape, shouldn't I keep my other stuff in good shape? And I think the answer is yes. And that includes stuff like teeth. Like a toy I can replace. These I can't really replace. Dentures, fake teeth are not really replacements for teeth. Like, we're not that good at that kind of stuff yet. And so we get to take care of our teeth. Flossing. So the funny thing about flossing is a weird thing. When I'm working with college students and I'm explaining how to get hired in aerospace, one of the very first things I explain, One of the very first things I explain is the importance of flossing. So food, as everybody explains, food get trapped in between the teeth, and you don't know it's there because our tongue can't go through that side, and so that whole deal. And then, so the bacteria in our mouth, which is supposed to be there, bacteria is not bad. It helps us break down food. It does other stuff in our body. That's not the point. Bacteria is not bad per se. Not all bacteria is bad. Bacteria serves a purpose. If we didn't have bacteria, we wouldn't have life. So the bacteria breaks down the food, and when it breaks it down, it releases gases, and that's the chemical process. And then our breath can smell. But worse is that food can break down with bacteria, and they can make like they can get too good at breaking stuff down, and then they break down, you get like a cavity. That's what a cavity is. It's a breakdown it uses, because this is made out of organic matter. Just like this, and this, and this, and these fingernails, everything, and the eyeballs, and the hair, organic matter. And so bacteria can eat organic matter, even hard stuff like teeth, and that's how it functions. And so having teeth and having good teeth is really an advantage. Not everybody naturally has good teeth. It doesn't happen that way. In the same way that not everybody has naturally good brain or naturally good eyes or naturally good hearing or naturally good digestion. If you can eat and digest food very easily, that's not guaranteed. You got lucky. Not everybody has that. What about people with diabetes that get to have insulin shots to balance their sugar? If you don't have diabetes, you're lucky. You have an advantage is the best way to put it. Being here, being alive, being a human alone is lucky. If you're here and you're listening to this right now, you're lucky. You have access to the internet. You have access to technology. You can understand language. Your mind works. You can see or hear or read. All of these amazing things that allow this communication to take place. You can communicate. These are not guaranteed. None of that is guaranteed. So if you have all of those things, you already have an advantage. If you want to give yourself another advantage that you have the power over, practice hygiene. It's something that grown-ups notice on you all the time. We notice because we smell it. We notice because we see it. We even notice it when we hear it. There's ways to notice hygiene by hearing, believe it or not. So think about that. So there was one other thing that I was talking about when I was about to go into about pandemic and everything. I see people do this all the time. All the time. Even in the US, especially around the world. But people will put their fingers into their nose, our fingers into our nose, up far. Like I can do it. Like put my finger up my nose. It is not the right thing to do. I mean, like everybody's got the reasons for it and everything like that. But the basic reason is like this. Germs right here get jammed right up in there. And that's how we get sick. Just like that. Germs on our fingertips get jammed right up in there. And that's how we get sick. And I know, like sometimes there's like I don't know any person that doesn't pick their nose at some point. There's something in there. You got to get it out. It's driving you crazy. And then you wash your hands afterwards. And that's how it goes. Okay. So it's like that. But when you do it, you got one, you should be in private, not in a classroom, not in a hallway, not in a store, not in public. I've been at a stoplight in a car and you look over. Have you ever done this? And you look over and someone is picking their nose. Have you ever seen that? Has it been you? It's been me before. I have been caught picking my nose in a car, which led me to realize I don't need to pick my nose, and I especially don't need to pick my nose in public or in a car. And that's why I always carry one of these, which is not the easiest thing in the world to carry. Like I got an itchy nose right now. Oh, it's itching. Oh, put a little lotion on that. So yeah, so even if we're itching our nose or touching our nose, like I'm inside my house, my hands are clean, I'm touching my nose, okay? But outside there, it's bad hygiene to do that. Outside, out here, pow, pow, pow. In the real world, out in outer space, if we go out here and we touch stuff, we can't touch our face or our nose. Bad hygiene right now during pandemic. Even before pandemic, it's how people caught flus and colds. By the way, check it out. So look at this. Remember we're gonna get to plant these. It's happening. Strawberries and raspberry seeds growing. Space strawberries and space raspberries. Let's see if I can give you a good shot of this. Let's get some light. And then I'll do a little paka. Okay, so I'll put this up in the light and you can start to see the roots that are growing off of they're starting to grow roots. So we put these in on July 17th. Today is July 28th? No, can't be. July 27th. So it took us 10 days to get those seeds. Paka. Took us 10 days to get those seeds propagated, germinated, where they're sprouting. And we're going to put them in soil, our space strawberries and our space raspberries. When we're planting those seeds, when we're having them grow right there, we got to keep them in a place, and we got to do it in a way that they don't get mold. That's like keeping them clean, keeping them safe, keeping them. This is seed hygiene. It works for all living things. Hygiene matters. So why am I talking to you about it? Because if you want to grow up to live, work, and play in space, if you want these opportunities, these little things are ways that you get advantages. I call them critical competitive advantages. They are ways that for people like me, other grown-ups, to notice you and pay you attention when you're like, if you want to be the first kid in space, let people know, I want to be the first kid in space. Have your teeth clean, your mouth clean. When you say it, no one's smelling your breath. They're happy to meet you. Make sure your hair is clean. Make sure your fingernails are clean. And introduce yourself and put your best foot forward. Make the best first impression that you can. Always make a good impression. Look, I always have my shirt buttoned up. I always have my name tag straight. I always have my sleeves buttoned, my shoes clean. My room is straightened out. Hygiene and neatness go together. It doesn't mean that look, over here is my creative zone. There's always kind of I keep it orderly, but there's some busybodiness going over there. Don't sweat that. That's important. I got a space for that too. When I'm planting the seeds, my hands get dirty. Don't sweat getting dirty. Getting dirty is fun. You ever play sports in the mud? Fun. For me, as I got older, it was fun. I didn't really like it when I was young. Then as I got older, fun. Getting dirty is fun. There's a time and a place. When we're working to make an impression on how fantastic a team player we are and how we should be on the team, we want to make sure that our clothes are clean. Oh, wow. Let me write that down. Wow. Clean underwear, clean clothes. Fingernails, clean hair, clean feet, clean underwear, clean clothes. What? Are you kidding me? Underwear is clothes too, so clean clothes. Wow. This is important. Also, a major part of hygiene is clean clothes. Don't just throw clothes on the ground, and don't just pick up clothes off the ground and put them on. Like, check it out. You see my wardrobe? Look, everything is hung up. Keep your stuff where it belongs. That's part of being able. Keep your clothes clean. Keep your shoes clean. Keep your room clean. Not always. You don't have to do it always. Sometimes it's fun. I remember when I was you, and I like to have a messy room. It was fun. It kind of like expressed myself, but not dirty. Not dirty. Like I would tell, when I found out Raphael, my son, was eating in bed. Oh, that's how we get bugs, I told him. That's how bugs happen, by eating in bed. And trust me, until you have woke up and there's ants crawling on you, you will not understand the importance, the real importance of not eating in bed. Bad situation, that can happen, or worse. So that's why we're talking about hygiene, so that you have the most advantages possible, so that you stand out in front of the line. You go right to the front of the line when you have great hygiene. It's like good manners. Good hygiene is a skill. And remember, how to go to space, be smart. Skills, manners, actions, resolve, and teamwork. Skills, hygiene is a skill. Manners, hygiene is part of manners. Having bad breath because you don't practice good hygiene is bad manners. Actions, brushing our teeth, cleaning our hands, cleaning our feet, making sure that our body is clean, making sure our hair is clean, making sure it's combed, brushed. These are simple things, simple things that if you really want to do something, or you really want to get something, like go to space, you doing it, you have the power to be able to pull this off. And that is why we talked about hygiene today. That is why. Skills, manners, actions, resolve, training. Resolve to be clean. Resolve. Decide that you're going to practice the hygiene matters to you, that you're going to practice it, and you're going to get the thing that you're after, and it will contribute to you achieving your goal. Listen, I am not wasting my breath. You matter. And I want to make sure that you have every opportunity to get your dreams, to make your dreams come true, to get the thing that you're after. I want you to have whatever you want in life. And I am proud of you. I'm proud of you for listening. I'm proud of you for paying attention. I'm proud of you for laughing when it's appropriate to laugh. I'm proud of you for crying when it is appropriate to cry. I'm proud of you for crying when you feel like crying and expressing your feelings and emotions. I'm proud of you when you tell people that you love them. I'm proud of you for not worrying what other people think. I'm proud of you for not listening to other people's unfair criticisms. I'm proud of you for these things. I'm proud of you for being brave enough and courageous enough to take on these challenges. I'm proud of you for holding your chin up. I'm proud of you for standing straight. I'm proud of you for being here today. I am proud of you, period. As I have said before, let me say it again. I love you. I love you because I love me. I have love for myself. I learned how to do that, and now I get to share it with you because I know the value you have because I found my own value. You have a worth that is beyond compare. You are a treasure to the universe. And you are worth having this conversation with and sharing this information because your dreams are worthwhile. Your being here has the potential to make the world the best place it can be. Simply by pursuing your passions, what you love, being true to yourself. And if it takes one person to remind you of that, if it was just you just needed one person to do that, let me be that person. If you need 10 people, let me be one of them. And if you have 200 people in your life who are doing that, I want you to celebrate them. If you have 2 people in your life, if you have grandparents or parents or aunts or uncles or neighbors or friends or allies who tell you that you are awesome and that you are beautiful and that you are smart and that you are intelligent and that you are worthwhile, celebrate them so they may celebrate you. These sound like small things, and they are not. Sometimes it takes our whole life to figure this stuff out. And so if you're getting it now, you're already ahead of where I was when I was you. And did I mention I'm proud of you? I'm proud of you. I am proud of you. Thanks for representing humankind as well as you do. Thanks for trying. Thanks for taking a chance. Thanks for working. Thanks for hoping. Thanks for feeling. Thanks for helping. Remember to think, how am I helping? Wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And just by thinking that, you're already making the world the best place it can be. I was about to say a better place. And I want to say the best place it can be. Imagine it working out for everybody. Take that challenge, take that chance, figure it out because you're smarter than the rest of us. I believe that. I believe that. You have something special. I'm honored to know you. I am honored to know you. You know, I repeat things because I want you to know they're important. It's important enough to say once, it's important enough to say twice. And maybe 3 times. I'm honored to know you. And I'm glad you're here. And I hope you have a great day. And I hope the rest of the day and everything after you watching this video is at least as good and rewarding as anything you took from being part of today's conversation. Proud of you. Carry that with you. And in the words of our people, pow, pow, pow.